how to make more money as a professional voiceover following the 10 commandments of voiceover etiquette.
Now, this is aimed at professional voiceovers who want to get more work by being nicer to work with. Now, with every profession, no matter what you are, you will get on in your career if you get on with other people. Most folk in this world are actually pretty reasonable and pleasant. They want to surround themselves with people just like them. It's obvious, really, isn't it? If your clients find you to be a little bit of a hustler, greedy, pushy, or just someone who annoyingly doesn't get back to them promptly, they won't want to work with you. You may think you're the nicest person in the planet, but because most of our work as voiceovers is now done remotely over the internet to people you will never physically meet, it's important to stick to these essential etiquette rules. I cannot overemphasize how important all this is if you want your career as a voiceover artist to flourish. If you haven't got time to watch this video now, you can just click the link to download a PDF with all the information in. But just stick with me. This is good stuff. Commandment 1. Thou shalt reply straight away. No matter what you're doing, always keep an eye out for your emails, texts, and WhatsApp notifications, whatever. The more responsive you are to clients, the more positive psychological brownie points you'll get. And more people will book you to record their voiceovers. Even if you can't actually record their demo or paid scripts straight away, at least reply as soon as you get anything from them within minutes. Give them a realistic time when you can do the work. I'm sure I personally get a lot of work, not because I may be the best voiceover for that particular job or the cheapest, but because I always respond quickly and generally in the studio on various projects working on something every day. I'm based in the UK. I have a lot of North American clients. I don't mind working late here in the UK for them. So make yourself available and respond fast. Commandment 2. Thy customer is always right. What do I mean by this? Well, look, usually the voiceover artist is at the end of a pretty long chain for most projects, particularly in the corporate and commercial world. The actual boss of the client's company may have asked his communications team to create a corporate video, for example. They then contact an external video production company, who then put the work out maybe to an animation company, who then put the voiceover work out to a voice agency, and then that voice agency finds you. So you're at the end of a very long chain. If you complain about the script or suggest changes to make it better, thinking you're doing them a favor, you really are not, because the person who wrote the script may be 2 or 3 people up this chain. The person who hires you may actually agree with your suggestions, but it would be just too embarrassing and not really in etiquette for them to make changes without checking it with the top person. And this creates hassle all around, yeah? Just shut up and read the script. If they decide to change it later and improve it to maybe just the way you wanted it, well, that's fine. You get paid again. So just read the copy's good. Commandment 3. Always go the extra mile. This means if they ask for a couple of takes, you give them 3. If they ask for 3 takes, you add an extra one for security or in a completely different style that they may like. However, there are some clients that find different takes annoying, especially those who haven't got English as their first language. They probably won't know the difference between the subtleties of the different takes you give them, so don't embarrass them. Give yourself extra work as well. If you feel they are someone who isn't fully au fait with the English language, grammar, or subtle accent changes, just do one really good, fantastic take that you feel would really hit their target audience well. Just send one. Okay, that's commandment number 3 of our Etiquette 10. Commandment 4. Thou shalt get thy clients' names right. Particularly if you have an unusually named client. It's so important not to make yourself look an idiot and spell their name incorrectly on the email reply or the file name. If it's a really long, complicated name that you're not familiar with, simply highlight the name, copy and paste it. Quite easy. And you won't offend the person. Simples. Commandment 5. Thou shalt make it easy for clients to get your files. Don't let them have to download any new software just so they can access your voiceover files. Don't let them have to register to any weird file transfer system you happen to like. I've personally used WeTransfer for years, because you simply send the link in the email, they just download the file to their computer at their end. All very simple, no registration, no downloads, no bugging emails afterwards from the system you choose. I don't personally use Dropbox because of this or any other system like that. I personally find Dropbox very confusing to navigate. People just want the file at their end where they know it is and where they can work with it, where they know what to click to download, not in some vague place in the cloud where you need to hunt it down and where there may be a security issue. Commandment 6, don't brag. When you're pitching for a job or you're sending out emails or phoning up people, don't do the big-headed thing about listing all the big names you've voiced for in the past. Oh, you can put this on your website if you like, but in a direct pitch, people just want to know what you can do for them, and it may even backfire if you state you've worked for some big-name organizations who are the direct rivals to the companies that that particular ad agency represents. So just be pleasant, concise, think about the needs of your client without going on about all the big flashy studios in the big cities you've been booked in. People just care about their own projects, they really do. As long as you come over as professional and competent and you have the voice they need, you've got the job. It's as simple as that. Commandment 7, don't be greedy. We're very lucky in this voiceover world of earning decent money for what is actually a pretty easy job. Come on, it is, isn't it? Particularly when you've done it some years, you've learnt the skills of the trade, it's no big deal to read and record and edit something almost on autopilot. So don't be greedy when asking for money in a quote. I find it strange how exactly the same amount of work in your studio can be paid vastly differently depending on where it's going to be used. But hey, that's the way the voiceover world is set up. Of course, you'd be stupid to say no to the big bucks if they're offered to you, but if the client genuinely sounds like they haven't got a big budget for your services, don't put the phone down or call them names for insulting your professionalism. Oh, I can't work for this. I am a professional, darling, But all you got to say is, look, I'll do it this time. I'm doing you a favor and I would appreciate the full rate next time. They will love you and you will get repeat business. Win-win. Back of the net. Commandment, as a football gag there. Commandment 8, never send the invoice in straight away. I know voiceovers who send the invoice in exactly the same email as the link to the recording, and that is just plain arrogant and rude unless they specifically asked for it. At least wait till they reply and say, hey, that's just what we want, bub. Hey, you should know that they quite often won't get the money for the job from the person they're providing your voiceover to for a good month or so. So it's just good etiquette to hold back. Just wait until they're absolutely 100% happy with your voiceover and it's been fully signed off. And only then send in the invoice. Quite often there are extra lines you're asked to record afterwards, so the invoice may need to be added to. So you're giving yourself extra work if you send in the first invoice with your first recording. Just wait till the job is over, then wait at least a week, then send in the invoice. Your clients will generally love you for doing this. If you're dealing with a very big agency where you send your invoice to an anonymous independent finance office, then, well, you don't need to worry then, because some faceless accountant will simply put your invoice in a folder ready for paying. However, if you're dealing with the actual person who booked you, who may be an independent producer, follow this commandment and they will love you forever. Commandment 9, never ever add music to custom demos. Yes, you can add music if you like to your show reels on your website. That'll give a bit more of atmosphere, extra professionalism. But when clients are asking for a custom demo, quite often they already have the video timeline ready. They simply place your demo on the video to see if it fits. If they've already carefully chosen music on their video timeline, which is quite often the case, then if you've sent in a demo, mixed your own music, how can they possibly do this? It'll sound awful. You'll be rejected. It's also a bit of an insult to the producer, as they normally choose the music. How dare you, the voiceover, choose a piece of music to put on your custom demo? So just send the audio, lightly compressed, without any music or effects. Don't waste your time. Commandment 10, never ever bleat when you lose a job. This isn't when you simply put in demos with loads of other people and you don't get offered the gig. This is where you think you have got a booking, but it gets pulled, maybe at the last minute. If you haven't actually recorded anything, just take it on the chin. Hey, I know voiceovers who would send in an invoice saying, oh, I had a firm booking, I need compensation. Or they have a 24-hour cancellation policy or some nonsense. And this is just going to get them in the bad books of the client and they're not going to get called again. Just be reasonable and pleasant. Why should you get paid? Because the person who booked you may find themselves without payment for their part of this cancelled project as well. So it all comes down in the end to just being nice to people, being reasonable, and the world will reward you in plenty. I hope you found all this interesting. If you'd like more tips for professional voiceovers and full training courses available, please visit www.voiceovermasterclass.com. Have a good day behind the microphone.